Hi there. I'm Leezá Steindorf. I'm a leadership coach and international speaker, and also the creator of the Core Success Framework. That's a tool that allows you to transform, to have personal growth, and build that also into professional strength. And today I'd like to talk to you about a surprise moment that you may not see coming. All right, you're doing your job, you're showing up every day, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you think you're asked, can you train the new person? And you freeze, right? Like, me train someone? Are you kidding? Or maybe you're flattered, right? Like, oh, wow, that's really awesome. Or maybe you're nervous, like, how in the world am I going to do this? Or you may wonder, am I even qualified to teach somebody? So the answer is yes. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can own this moment with clarity and confidence and calm using the core framework. All right. So the first time that you're asked to train someone, it can feel like being thrown into the deep end. You're doing your work, you're finding your footing, you're still figuring things out maybe, and maybe you've never led anyone before, and you don't want to mess up their learning experience. But here's something important you really need to understand. Think about it. You were asked for a reason. Literally. They saw something in you. They have a reason to ask you to do this. Your consistency, your communication, your own process, what you've already achieved. So now it's time for you actually to rise to the next level, even if you think you're not ready yet, right? It's an opportunity. So let's walk through how you can actually shift from being the doer into the trainer. Even if you're still learning yourself, that's absolutely fine. All right. So we're going to go into the core framework. And the moment that you step into training someone else, you're no longer responsible for only your own work. You're actually helping somebody else to shape how they perform. And that doesn't mean you're responsible for them, but it can still feel overwhelming, right? And the core framework, clarity, ownership, resolution, excellence, C.O.R.E., it will give you a clear path forward. It'll give you tools to move through this, all right? And help you step into the role with confidence and help you communicate clearly and actually lead and train with impact. So we're going to break it down, all right? How you can use CORE to train someone for the first time. And if you find this subject matter useful, go ahead and subscribe or like the video, and there's always going to be more coming just like this. All right, so let's start with clarity. Know what you know. Huh? What I mean by that is before you start teaching someone else, take a minute to ground yourself and ask yourself what you know. What are the key steps that you do every day? Write them down. What are the shortcuts that you've already found out, right? Or what systems have you figured out that maybe aren't in the manual or that aren't taught in your training? Or you can even look at the things that you found confusing when you first started and how you figured them out and write that down too. So you have content. You have actually, you know a lot more than you think you do. And you don't have to be perfect. You need to be clear. Okay? So write an outline, a quick outline, a step-by-step breakdown of tasks. Simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Common mistakes to avoid, ones that you've made, ones that you've seen or heard about, and also where to find resources or who to ask for what, right? So people know where they can go when they need help. So when you have clarity and you can capture that and share that, they'll have clarity too. And if you realize that you're unclear about something, share that. Or it's an opportunity to learn it and strengthen your own understanding as well. Okay? So first thing is getting clear on everything you already do know and what you'd like to share with the person. All right. So let's look now at ownership. And ownership does not mean you are responsible for everybody. It means that you own your part of anything that you are involved in, not what is happening out there, but what's happening in here and how you respond to that. So you're just not repeating steps. You're actually creating the culture as you go forward. And training someone is more than just telling them what the tasks are. Okay? It's about showing them how to communicate in a team, how to navigate certain situations, how to solve problems, and maybe what's being expected of them or what was expected of you. Yeah, so you're in transparent communication with them because now you're the role model. Even if it's not a super formal role model, you're still a role model. You're there to help them come into the organization. And that also doesn't mean that you need to know everything. Don't pretend to know everything. It just means that you're going to be honest and thoughtful, right? Because you already have gotten clarity on what you want to share with them, and you're consistent in what you're sharing with them. So, for example, you can say, here's how I do it, and here's what helped me when I was learning. And then they can either try that out or go their own direction, right? Or if there's something that's unclear, you can say, I'm not sure about that either, but let's find it out together. Okay? And especially if there are areas where you found them challenging, point those out. Yeah, this was a part that really tripped me up. What questions do you have about it, or what do you think could be challenging for you? So, ownership is showing up really as a leader of what you do well and also maybe the challenges you have, and sharing with them the things that you wished you would have known when you'd first started. Okay? All right. So now let's move on to resolution. And the way that I define resolution, it's often used in terms of conflict resolution, but I use it in regarding bringing things together that maybe are out of alignment, that your thoughts are in conjunction with your actions, that your values are aligned with what you're doing in the world. So in resolution, we're going to talk about things that maybe are not in sync, right? For example, mistakes, sharing. Mistakes will happen. Confusion is normal, right? And even in your training this person, you might fumble. You might fumble explaining something, or you may get something wrong, or they may not pick things up right away, right? They may feel like they're not doing it right. So it's important not only for you, but for them to understand that it's not about being perfect. It's about that alignment, that resolution. And if there's tension or challenges, don't avoid it. Look how you can solve it, right? So here's a couple ways how you can do that. First of all, you can set expectations upfront for the person, right? Saying, you're not going to get everything right away, and that's okay, right? You have people here to support you. I'm here to support you. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. The second one is to keep communication open. Let me know what's still unclear, and we'll work through it together. Or if something comes up for you, please let me know so I can help you. And the third one is stay curious and supportive. That's a good question. Let's look at it together. Or I found this difficult too. You're going to get it. Don't worry about it. Okay? So when you're training someone for the first time, it actually builds your emotional intelligence because you're having to think into, feel into what they're going through, remembering back to what you went through, and sharing that with them, having understanding for their position. Okay. And that's going to be called upon as much as your actual technical leadership or job training itself. And that's where your confidence actually can grow, and theirs can as well. All right. Let's look at excellence. And the way that I define excellence is finding that highest and best within yourself and speaking to and engaging with the highest and best in others, right? So you're actually leading from your experience, not from ego. And ego meaning just the thinking mind of, I know better, I've got it all figured out. Not that. Just leading from your humanity. So excellence is not about being the smartest person in the room, and it's also not about being perfect or getting it all right or being polished. It's really about being generous with what you've learned and who you are, right? You use your mistakes to help others learn as teaching tools. You celebrate their progress instead of pointing out what they haven't achieved yet. You're really supporting them and seeing their potential and helping them grow into that. And you keep improving your own process as you're teaching and helping others. Great trainers are actually very humble, they're observant, and above all, they're human. They let their humanity show. So if you're nervous, That's okay. Somewhere in that nervous energy, there's an excitement, there's a desire to do well, or an intensity of caring. Let that be your strength. So you can flip that narrative of what nervousness means. Let it be your strength. Grow into it. And remember that leadership actually starts when you start lifting others. When you start stepping into that position of supporting others on their path or on the path you have together, that's actually leadership. Okay, so let's go into practice. You've just been asked to train someone for the first time. Pause and acknowledge this. You're being trusted. You're seen as capable, or they wouldn't have asked, and you're being invited into leadership. Wow. And own that. So instead of trying to be perfect or trying to get it right and make sure nobody, sees you making a mistake, have a goal, aim to be present. Aim to be present and stand in what you do know. And if you don't know something, then figure it out or find it out. So you can teach clearly, you ask questions, and you stay open. Your job is not to turn someone into a clone of you or make sure they become the perfect them. It's to help them find their own path, their own rhythm as you're offering your guidance. Yeah, and that's really what leadership looks like. Okay? So if this video helped you feel more confident in stepping into that first training role, go ahead and like and subscribe if you'd like to have more of this content, and leave a comment. Share what you've learned maybe from a great mentor, someone who's taught you along the way, or what maybe you wish someone would have told you if you'd have had that kind of help when you started out. And if you're ready to grow your leadership skills from the inside out using core principles, explore more videos and trainings below. And remember, you are literally more ready than you think you are. This is only the beginning. You're ready to go. Trust that.